I would say the maps issue is arguably the biggest issue in Battlefront 2 right now, bigger than the weapons for me. Things have become pretty stale, and they've been stale for a while. There was such a large variety of maps at launch, from the prequel era to the originals to the sequels, and while those maps are still there, they haven't gone anywhere. They've become stale because of the so little amount of maps that have been added since launch. It's just the same over and over again. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, everyone, and let me know which map out of all the maps possible you'd like to see added to Battlefront 2. Right, let's talk facts. Galactic Assault, 3 prequel maps, 5 original trilogy maps, and 3 sequel maps at launch. That's a total of 11. Then, in its current state, the prequels have 4, the originals still have 5, and the sequels have 4, so 2 new maps, taking it up to a grand total of 13. So Crate and Geonosis have obviously been added since launch. Whether you want to count Crate because it added 1 month after the game's launch, you could argue that only 1 map has been added to the game. No Felucia is confirmed for Galactic Assault, which is so unfortunate. Heroes vs Villains at launch, 3 prequel maps, 5 original trilogy maps, and 3 sequel maps. In its current state, 6 prequel maps, 8 original trilogy maps, and 3 sequel maps, with still no Crate in there. So that's a total of 6 new maps: Jabba's Palace, the Administrator's Palace, Kessel, the Dreadnought, the Venator, and Geonosis. That's a good lineup, and it is unfortunate that Crate is still not in there. It's in the files, there's voice lines for it. Hopefully Crate can be added soon, but that's 6 new maps for HVV. And from the 11 maps it had at launch, it's now got a whopping 17. There is variety in HVV, and I currently have no issues with that as far as maps go. And I think that's a prime example of how changes can be made. A few maps from the old game, and a few new maps as well. Even maps from other game modes, as in the Dreadnought and the Venator from CS. But Capital Supremacy is a big issue for me when it comes to maps, because it's currently got 4, we're going to say 5 because Felucia's on the way. Only 2 of those maps will be new, one of which being Felucia, which isn't out yet. Geonosis got a whole new map for CS, and that, considering it was the first map for CS, did kind of spark something that, okay, we might get a new map for CS every time a new map launches. But that wasn't the case. Naboo, Kamino, and Kashyyyk just remained the same, with a few changes to the environmental clutter here and there. So no Crate for HVV, no Felucia for Galactic Assault, and they do miss out here on variety for other game modes and also consistency. I think what would be great would be able to say that every Galactic Assault map would be available in Heroes vs Villains, in Capital Supremacy, and the other game modes as well. I've not really included those in this video because they've kind of been abandoned to a certain extent, as in other maps don't really seem to appear in them, apart from Blast maybe. But when you look at Galactic Assault now, this was my favourite game mode, and I've kind of been forced over to CS in a way, because although the maps are the same, they do kind of work a bit differently. But Galactic Assault is stale right now. I really don't enjoy it. 1 new map, I'm saying, since launch, because Crate has kind of been there since launch. They just held it back for The Last Jedi. And I think what would have been amazing would be to have put Felucia in Galactic Assault. I do believe it will come eventually, but not until the sequel content is over. I'm really hoping the sequel content introduces a new Galactic Assault map. I'm hoping for that so much. But Geonosis at this point, are we still calling this a new map? It's new in terms of comparing it to the other maps, but it's not new anymore. It's nearly been out a year, just short of 10 months currently, or I believe 11 months at this point. And what can you say about that? How do you not add maps to Galactic Assault at this point? It was like the big game mode. It's still that game mode there that offers something for fans from all 3 eras and not just the Clone Wars. And at this point it is totally stale, which is so unfortunate for me because I've been drawn away from that mode completely. I think what needs to be done is Felucia gets added to it. The new sequel map hopefully gets added to it. That's 2 more. That will be a lot of variety there. If we're going to be keeping CS as Clone Wars only, which there's teasers here and there, or you can interpret them as teasers, I suppose hints that we may get sequel content for it, but nothing confirmed. If you're going to be keeping it Clone Wars, then add new Clone Wars maps to it. I think how Geonosis offers, obviously, the Galactic Assault version, and then Pipeline Junction West for CS, 2 different variations of 1 map, and that would be great. Giving us another sector of Kamino, another sector of Naboo, another sector of Kashyyyk for Galactic Assault, and maybe putting some of those into Capital Supremacy as well. You don't always have to design a new planet for a new map, and I think that's something to remember here, because I understand it probably takes much more to design a new planet than anything in the game because of the amount of detail and the scale of these things. So take pre-existing planets in your game and maybe add different sectors to them. Kashyyyk and Naboo have that for heroes versus villains. I think a great way to look at things would be to have the same maps available for every game mode. I understand the Dreadnought and the Venator may be difficult, definitely, for a Galactic Assault level. Kessel will be difficult for a Galactic Assault level, and I make exceptions there. But Bespin, if you really wanted to, add Cloud City from the last game. Alright, it may take a bit more effort than a lot of the fans think, it's not as easy as just porting it over, but at the same time it would offer Bespin for a smaller game mode and a larger game mode, and I think that variety is very much lacking now. Before we move on to the likes of Coruscant, which I think should be added, I doubt it though, I think we should focus on getting the maps in the current game into all the game modes, excluding some exceptions like Kessel, like I said. But I would like to see Utapau, I would like to see Coruscant, I'd like to see some original trilogy content in here too. A lot of it is already in the game as far as maps go, it's got a great variety, it really has, but maybe some other maps here and there. Death Star 1 could make its return, Bespin like I said, and then the sequel content coming this fall or this winter, I hope that there is a Galactic Assault map in there. Well, thank you very much for watching everyone, I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope the map situation is sorted out eventually because it's becoming stale. That's the best way I can put it, and that is unfortunate, but let's hope for the best.